guys, we are back. And
Can you believe it? We're actually doing consistent live stream check-ins to the point where it's like live or
my
I have.
my internet is not choppy tonight, so you're not going to be doing this at the entire stream. I felt so bad. I almost hid our last stream because I felt so bad.
Aw.
I'm like, I'm almost gonna hide it, but I'm like, no, we did shout outs for the did we do shout out the Kickstarter shout outs last week? I was gonna say, yeah, so it's better that I do.
I've gotten a lot of compliments from people when I'm like, oh, here's the podcast episode, we chat for a little bit, but it's at the hour and 13-minute mark or whatever it was. And they're like, oh my gosh, thank you so much, or that's so cute. You guys, you can tell you're passionate about it. Like, I've gotten all kinds of comments about it. So
that's awesome. Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah,
well, hello to all the viewers, the post live stream viewers.
Yes. So hello. Okay. So you have actually gotten quite a bit to talk about because you were last reading Quicksilver. And I know because I was with you for part of it. We were in the car.
We had to skip it. So we had some like personal and for fun errands to run in Jeff, and so we just had made a girls' day out of it, and Joanna's sister went with us, and so we just had a girls' day, and we went around, like, messed around in Jeff, and I was in the middle of listening to because when I read, I like having access to the audiobook, so if I drive anywhere, I can just pull it up and continue reading. Yes, I'm one of those people that considers audiobooks reading, but anyway, we're not going to get into that discussion because I could rant for hours on that one. But we had to skip a chapter because we got to a certain point and it said that he caressed her face, and I paused it and I'm like, and you're like, I remember you saying, I can't remember if this is spicy or not, and I'm like, click, and I'm like, as much as I love you guys, I'm not going to make you listen to a sex scene in the car with me. And I'm like, there's a line that I won't cross with my cousins, and we're not doing that. That is a line I will not cross. We're not,
You stopped at this one of the most dramatic reveal parts when we got in the car with you, and so you're like, I have to finish this scene, guys, I'm sorry. And I'm like, I love the audiobook, I don't mind. My sister is the one who's not a book reader, and she goes, Kingfisher, and so my sister actually got into it for the part that we but then as we were listening, we got to like the boss fight, so it was like, I just want to get to that part when they get, spoiler alerts, when they get to the labyrinth. I was like, labyrinth.
Oh my gosh.
And we got there, so it was so dope.
It was giving me like Roman Colosseum vibes, and I'm like a fantasy Colosseum, and I'm like with like dead people, and I'm like, Okay, one small thing, this did come in the mail. I've been looking at eBay a lot for used books. Can actually find some decent deals. I got this for like $5, $6, and free shipping.
I have a really crappy paperback version that I got for $20.
Hey, but you have the original cover though.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It switched covers, did it? Because this isn't the same cover that you have.
No, I don't know which one is the current updated.
I was gonna say the cover.
You I see most of the time though.
I'll say the cover that you have is the one that's like, if I try to get that one on eBay, I'm pretty sure it's like expensive.
So maybe I should be grateful.
Yeah. Or you could sell it on eBay and get a pretty penny for it.
Yeah.
Gosh, I'm sidetracking myself for like 2 seconds.
Okay, you're good.
Yeah, if you're wanting to buy like used books online, and you don't have like a local, like many times there are websites that will send you to like local, like where you can buy books to support like small bookstores, but I forget them offhand. Okay.
But eBay is an alternative though.
Yeah, the book that you have, the red cover paperback, somebody's selling it on eBay for like $21.
Yeah, that's about what I paid. It was like 19 something.
12
is what I paid 21, for it.
20. They have the first 3 in that style covers. for $46.99. So it's kind of depends on what you're wanting. If you're wanting to find like the original cover and they've already done a rebrand and the rebrand's what made it famous, then it's like eBay is kind of the way to go. But yeah, so I finished Quicksilver.
Your thoughts? That.
Okay.
I wanted to discuss the ending with you because I had some issues and I wanted to see what your thoughts were. So spoiler alerts for Quicksilver, you've been warned.
Okay.
I'm warning you for what you're doing.
I don't have I
okay. Like, I'm not sure how I feel about that.
I would much rather I don't know, because when she goes to talk to the prince, is it the Prince of Chaos, or that was who it was, and change? It was like idea. The Prince of, I don't remember if it was the Prince or the Lord or the God of Chaos and Change.
I remember it being like a god situation.
Like, yeah. I honestly feel like he could have trumped the vampire bit and made her just half fae, half human. It seems kind of like, I don't know, it's tiptoeing into the spectrum of, oh, I'm a very special person in this universe type of vibe. Now, that purely depends on what direction she takes the next book will determine if I'm okay with that or not. Like, so far I'm okay with it, like, because she's still gonna have struggles, like, with the whole being a vampire thing, and all of that. And we had other reveals about what was his name? Malcolm, was that his name?
Yeah, it was one of them.
The one that she ends up killing. The one that she ends up killing at the end.
It's Malcolm.
Malcolm, okay. What was I gonna say? He said that she could control more than Quicksilver. That there was more that on her hands. Okay. There are those different words that meant different things. And one of them was Quicksilver, and there was like other types of stone. So I would really like to see this whole like it already feels like there's like a series problem. I don't know if there's an actual official name for what I'm trying to describe. Like, there's a book. There's, I guess, Brandon Sanderson. I've been watching his. Sorry, my brain is jumping, so you're just gonna have to bear with me. Okay.
I'm struggling, but it's okay.
I'm sorry. Okay. So, Brandon Sanderson has been posting his like updated videos of his lectures, his fantasy and science fiction writing class lectures. Which, if you personally, if you haven't watched those, I enjoy watching them, just because I kind of miss being in college and sitting in class and learning, because I'm teaching all the time. So I actually miss sitting down, having assignments, and like listening to teachers. I miss that, which is weird because I didn't think I'd ever say that, but I do miss that. And so it's like almost like sitting down listening to like a lecture, and they're actual lecture length. They're like an hour and 30 some minutes. Some of them are, but it's really interesting. And one of them, he said, like, big plot and little plot, I guess. Like, the little plots are the individual books, and then the big plot is like series end game type of thing. So I guess it's like called like big plot, I guess. That I feel like she's already introducing the big plot, so I feel like she has really fast pacing. And I don't hate it, because like you can attest to this too, like where we've been reading Sarah J. Maas series, where the big plot's not always necessarily revealed until like book 3 or 4. And so it's like you're at the climax of the big plot is where you're at.
It's a slow burn plot series, so it's like the fast burn plot series is kind of like different, basically. But yeah, I just didn't know if I liked the fact that she turned into a vampire, and wasn't there something about her being the vampire queen or the queen of the vampires or something? And so I was just like,
oh wait, where was that
at? I thought that was at the ending, but maybe I remembered it wrong, and I'm going to laugh at myself if I did, because I was like, it kind of like all depends on how Brimstone portrays her. and that
oh yes felt. She is in charge of the entire like vampire group of vampires because she killed Malcolm.
And I'm not sure how to feel about that, and it depends on Brimstone how it's portrayed for me
honestly,
to make a decision on whether
honestly, I don't feel like she's had. Here's my thing. Callie Hart feels like a very fast-paced writer, and in this case, it's kind of hurting her a little bit because for me, I'm kind of like completely forgot about that, but it's like part of me. We'll see what happens. Like part of me can't really make a judgment on it too quickly because we don't know, like, if she has a lot of problems and she's really struggling and they're really kind of and they like if the people don't follow her willingly and aren't like I will die for you type of, like, if it's not like that and they're like was happy with Malcolm, or you know, like I don't know if he had a lot of like loyal followers and she struggles a lot, then I'll be fine with it. But if it's one of those things where she's instantly loved by all the vampires and they're instantly on her side and they're working with them now, I don't know.
It doesn't feel earned.
Yeah. But I think the fast pacing of the book kind of hurts that a little bit because it feels like feels like for me that kind of plot twist is probably something that like should have been announced in the second book.
Yeah, it was a lot to throw in at the end, I felt like, but it was still like kind of like the boss fight part of it to me was like really intense and like roller coaster kind of like this is a true boss, what I would consider a true boss fight kind of thing. But I just wasn't sure about the twist at the end. So, so you finished Quicksilver. I have a hair or something in my glasses and I can see it when I put my glasses on.
I hate that.
It off and try to get rid of it. I can't find it, so I'm gonna be messing with my glasses weirdly. But yeah, so you finished Quicksilver, and you started. I think your next read was Harry Potter and the Cursed Child.
Yeah, so it was,
I don't know the actual.
Yeah, so it was Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, which again, when this first came out, there was kind of like. It was kind of like a kind of a controversial thing, not like horribly, but it was kind of like back and forth, like the readers were pretty divided on whether they liked it or not.
Right.
Hold on, let me pull up the Goodreads so I can go over like because the Goodreads score is 3.47. And if we're looking at the percentage, like the overall rating percentage, about 25% of total ratings are 5-star, 26% are 4-star, 25 are 3-star, 13% is 2-star, and 8% is 1-star. So it's like it's a very divided book. And the actual numbers around 288,000 roughly said 5-star, 293 said 4, 285 said 3. And so a lot of, like, I skimmed through a little bit of the Goodreads. One thing I absolutely hate about Goodreads, for some reason, it instantly, when I scroll down to look at the reviews on a book, it shows me the 1-star ratings, the 2-star ratings, the 3-star ratings, the ones that are giving the book complete crap and dogging it are the first ones I see. And I absolutely hate that. Why are the crappy, horrible reviews the first ones that we see all the time?
Yeah, you away from it. Like, in my case, that's what happened to me.
And honestly, it's like, I get it that those are like the most liked reviews, but it's like it's not even consistent with the most liked, because you have a review that looks like they didn't even read it. They just made a comment about trans lives matter, which we're not getting into that discussion with J.K. Rowling because everyone knows that whole debate and everything that she said, so we're not getting into it. But like that review's that's on there with 900 and some odd likes, and then below that is a 1-star review with 2,000 likes. But then if you scroll up, there's a review that it's not even consistent. It's just showing me reviews that have a bunch of likes that, like, I don't know.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Honestly, that's happened to me too with another book that I DNF'd, and I was scrolling through the reviews, and it was a lot of the negative ones too. So, kind of drives me crazy.
Like, one thing I do have to say, there's a YouTuber that I've watched since I was like in like high school called Jesse the Reader, and I really like his review. He didn't actually give it a star rating. He said, I'm not going to rate this. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. It's just a thing that exists and I'm accepting it for what it is. And he said he put an edit later that says, I didn't mean for this review to come off as shady as it did. I'm going to make a video discussing my feelings further. I'm happy that we got to visit the world again, but I just wasn't, just wasn't what I was expecting it to be. If you loved this book, that's okay. I'm happy that you enjoyed it. And he's one of the ones that read it in 2016 when it first came out. And I can get it if you're seeing a new Harry Potter book coming out. A lot of people were expecting a full-size novel, and they got, and if people, if they don't know, it's a screenplay. It's literally like
a play pretty quickly.
Yeah, like a play. That's why I read it so quickly, is because it's literally dialogue. It's like, Harry says this, Albus says this, Harry says this, and then it will go to Act 1, Scene 8, and it's split up into 4 acts. It's literally like the script of a play. And in the back of my version, though I don't know if it's in all of these, but it's like, it shows about the production, so the original production that came out, and it shows like all of the actors that played all the different characters, and it shows like the original story, the playwright, the director. Yeah, they're redoing it. The reason why I kind of jumped onto reading it is because Broadway's doing a production of it, and Tom Felton, the guy that played Draco in the movies, is coming back for adult Draco in the Broadway production.
Oh, okay.
So
what were your thoughts on it?
I really liked it. I enjoyed it. I could see how there could be canon plot issues with, because the whole premise, do you care if I spoil? Okay, so the whole premise is that they discover a time turner, which is like, time turners, like in the story, is what Hermione used to attend all of her classes, and they kind of went back to save Buck, Beak, and Sirius in one of the earlier books. They use a time turner. And like in the initial, I forget which book it was, Harry is like surrounded by Dementors. It's the Prisoner of Azkaban. That's what's one it is. And he's surrounded by Dementors, and the version of him that goes back into the past is the one that casts the Patronus. But him at the time didn't realize it and thought it was like the ghost of his dad. And so it's like the past person was able to interact with the present person. And so in this book, Albus, which is Harry's son, and Scorpius, which is Draco's son, become friends because Albus gets sorted into Slytherin. And they become like close friends. And so when they overhear a discussion about, like, essentially they just, there's certain things that happen, and they decide to go back and try to save Critic Diggory from the Tri-Word Tournament, because if we know at the end, Cedric, I always say his name wrong, he ends up dying at the end because he's the, quote, spare, and Voldemort kills him. And then the whole story progresses, and so the whole concept of the story is the boys, these 2 boys and this girl, that's supposedly a cousin, just to Cedric. Okay, Cedric. I say supposedly because there's things that happen, but they go back to each of the different, because like there's 3 different competition bits within the Tri-Word Tournament, and they go to each one and try to stop Cedric, and each time it changes the future somehow. And there's one time in particular they actually interact with Cedric, and it's like they're interacting with people, and they go back to the present, and it's just really kind of it's a really gray area. So like I can see why if you're somebody that's reading it and it's like over analyzing how it fits into canon and how it impacts canon, I could see how you would not like it too much, because it is kind of like a back to the present, back to the past, back to the present, back to the past kind of thing consistently. And some people were thinking that Ron was like one phrase that one review said was a, quote, bumbling idiot. And they did mention in the book that he owns the joke shop, which is the shop that Fred and George owned, which we all know what happens to Fred. So in my head, he owns a joke shop, which means he's probably spent some time with George, learning the ropes of how it works. And I can imagine George is probably pretty broken up because he lost an identical twin, which that would be horrible on anybody to lose a sibling, let alone somebody that you are identical to and you have that special bond that not many people have other than identical twins. So it's like, in my head, I can see why Ron would become a very bubbly, jokester, type of person, why he would embody that personality. One, because he's probably interacting with George more closely, and he probably misses how George used to act, because that was Fred and George's whole personality, was jokesters, pranksters, and all of that. And so it's like, I don't know. It didn't bother me because I kind of read between the lines. It didn't explicitly say that, but that's how I took it. And I enjoyed it. And I'm not going to overanalyze it to try to figure out if it fits precisely into canon, because I'm not the author.
Yeah.
So
makes sense.
It's not like I'm going to overanalyze and nitpick your series and like be like, hey, this breaks canon. You can break your own canon if you want, because you're the one that wrote it. You could insert another book after like Immortal or before Immortal and make Jace this horrible, crappy dude with an ulterior motive to destroy the world. And I can't say crap about it because I'm not the one that wrote it. We know that. We know that.
Like, if the author signs off on it,
But we know that our precious Jace would never do that. But you know what I'm saying. Yep. You know what I'm saying, though. It's just like
now pick a different. Is she the little more on point?
Like, the thing is she the sole writer of this? Does she even write it? I'm not sure. I haven't done the research into that, because the more you research into J.K. Rowling, the more you dive into all the people that hate her, and I am done actively searching for hate. I'm done with that. Yeah. You can believe what you want to believe. You can not support who you don't want to support. That's up to you. I don't have to read about it. So, for my own mental health, I can't do it, because it will make me very anxious, because confrontation gets me very anxious, and I can't deal with that. So I just don't look. It's not because I don't care. I physically cannot do that. So yeah. That was.
So I feel like I'm making.
You're making consistent progress.
Right. Yeah. It's back and forth. Sometimes it's like 100 pages a night. Other times it's like 10 or 20. But I will say that like it's got this interesting dynamic, because there's so many POV switches that, like, one time, for instance, like, it's Aoden and all of them going through this really intense battle, and you're like, I can't wait to get back to them because I want to know what's going to happen next. But then, I think it was last night or the night before last, I hit the part where, spoiler alerts for the Throne of Glass series, by the way, I've caught myself, but I just got to the part where, like, Rowan and all them may potentially be close to finding Aelin. I don't know for sure, because I don't know where the author is taking this. Like, I could see it taking most of the book, but then I feel like she wants Aelin to be a big role in the book, so you're not going to leave her captured. So, like, the author part of me is like, do you rescue her quickly, or do you let it drag out for a bit for the angst? Yeah. And I can't pinpoint what she's going to do. But anyway, so it's like, seems like they may rescue her soon. So my brain is like, I want to know what's happening next. And it, like, ends, and then you have to jump through, like, 20 more POVs before you get back to them. And I'm like, I want to know what's going on with them. Because, like, the lead had to go into the city by herself.
Yeah.
And, she acts like a really epic spy. And so I really like that whole sequence, I couldn't, and Lorcan was like freaking out and pacing and clenching his fist and being a typical Fey male because he didn't want her to go in there. And it's like, I want to know what's happening next. And then you have like Manon and the 13. She's trying to get the Cochrane's, I never liked the way that I pronounce that, but the other witch clan is how I'll say it, to trust her.
Yes.
And so that's kind of like, it's been interesting. The current scene I'm reading is a little bit dull, but we'll get there. And then Dorian's got his own little, I forget what he's trying to do. He's trying to learn to shift because he has some plan that we don't know about, that we haven't been told about. So I don't know how that's going to pan out. Yeah. And then freaking, okay, I was so happy that Aoden and Lysandra and all them took the army out from underneath the lords and left. Because I was sick and tired of them having to ask every 2 seconds, okay, for this battle, should we move the troops here? And are we allowed to go here? It's like, for the love of God, just fight the bad guys and stop with the political, like the lords were driving me crazy because they didn't really have a... But that was driving me, so I'm like, just steal the army out from underneath them in the middle of the night, like, or whatever. That was great. I loved that part.
Yeah, I did too.
So, it doesn't stop, it doesn't slow down. And like I said, there are some POVs, like right now, Manon, her POV is kind of boring me because it's just like, oh, we're trying to serve the other witches. Like, oh, if you bring them their brooms, they may trust you. I'm like, okay, I don't really care. So I'm kind of trying to...
It's kind of more of like a filler thing to get to the point where they want. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's like, but it's so fast paced. I'm not like, I think it's like half a page and then half the other page and then I'm jumping POVs. Oh, yeah. So it's like, you know, it's so, and then Aelin, I did actually feel a little bit of sympathy for her. So, because they were getting ready to like move her, and then I did like that. At first, I didn't like that she was able to like, what was it? Where it was like she had this moment where it was like finally she's hit this low point, and I feel like every, especially strong female leads, needs to have that low point that they overcome. But it was like a page later, she was like, her mother encouraged her and she was like strong again and she was fighting again, and it was like, oh my God, can we let the low point last for longer than a page, please? But it had a purpose because when she was pounding on the iron thing, it released her like a power, and like Rowan, we jumped to his POV and he was able to feel that, and that told them that she was in Dorianel or whatever, and so that kind of gave them a direction to go. And so I kind of understood that, but it would be nice to see her actually struggling a little bit. Like she's struggling a little bit, but
that's not her only low point. that whole chunk of the story is it gets intense. Yeah. So
yeah. It's interesting because I think I got to the part where Maeve is manipulating her. So it's like this scene where she's Aunt Maeve and she's sitting around telling stories, and I think the story was like story, but like Aelin didn't pick up on it because her mind is just really screwed up right now. So I'm like, I don't know where you're going with this, and I don't know where she actually is because she only sees the like the fake life kind of thing. So I'm like, what's going on here? Yeah. And obviously Maeve's not in Dorianel, which is where they thought they felt Aelin. So is like, I don't know if Maeve took Aelin with her. Like, it's just like we don't know what's going on. So yeah, it's nice. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. So. And then after The Cursed Child, you started Crescent City Book 3, right? Like, you've been guided.
I just kind of, like, shoved my head in, and I had the graphic audio playing, because the series is so much better with the graphic audios. It's just really good. But I was reading along as I was listening to it. I was doing one of those things. But it's, like, constant POV switching. Like every couple pages it'll switch a POV, and sometimes the POVs will last longer and she'll return to them a little bit quicker. One POV in particular is like dumping a lot of heavy like series lore, and even a step higher than series lore, if you're getting my drift. Some POVs are very, like, honestly, probably the first time I've read a book and thought that, like, it was, like, not sexual graphic, but, like, injury graphic. And I'm like, oh, and then there's, like, times where I'm, like, in my head, I'm the wash your hands constantly paranoid side of me is like, oh my gosh, that could cause so much infection. You know, like, that's, like, in my head, I'm like, Oh.
Yeah.
And so it's like, and then there's like, and there's times where I'm like, my gut is like in the floor because of what they're having to do. And it's just like, and then there's others where I'm just like instantly devastated at the situation that these other characters are in. And it's just like, and it was only part 1 of the book. But I mean, like, I'm taking a break from it today. I'm reading something out, like, some stuff on my phone. So I am reading, and I'll probably read a few pages of it tonight before I go to bed. But it's like, I am, like, calming down a little bit, because I'm going to get through this book quicker than I want to. Because I will go through major Sarah J. Maas withdrawals at the end of this.
Yeah, for sure. That's what I'm gonna have to deal with. Kingdom of Ash. I was gonna take a break before jumping into Crescent City, but your enthusiasm for this particular book, is like, maybe I'll take a short break and just dive into Crescent City. Because like Steven, the guy we like to watch on Instagram, he's also reading Crescent City book 1 for the first time. Ooh. So I've gotten he has updates, and I'm like, I can't watch them because of spoiler alert. And so
yeah.
But yeah, so
like I would have to say, like, each book just gets, like, each book in the Crescent City series, like, the problem amplifies. And it's gotten to that point where it's like, you know how, like, that big plot, little plot? Like, this seems like bigger than your average big plot. And I don't know how else to describe it. It's just, like, it's like biggest plot is what I'm thinking. And I'm just like, and then there's like there's certain characters that do certain things, and there's 3 characters in particular that are interacting for a chunk of time, and I can understand why each of the characters react the way they do, but it still kind of makes me like very, very uneasy, and that's the best way I can describe it.
Okay. It's interesting.
And that's one of them where it's like, last night I really could have used like brainstorming like in detail with you, but I'm like, I have to keep it over here.
Yeah. Like, you remember all of your Kingdom of Ash like brainstorming thoughts and things? Like, oh my god. You
yeah, it's oh my goodness. But yes, it is really good so far. I'm curious as to where it's going to go. I also have potential theories of there's people they're trying to reach and to try to help with the big plot. I have a theory that those people that are going to help are not actually going to help in the end. I think they're going to help for their own selfish purposes, is what I think.
Right, makes sense.
I think that I have my own theories of how those people connect, how other things connect into that, and yeah.
It's kind of amusing. Well, the other thing that has been going on in my life, obviously, is this thing. So the Kickstarter is launching tomorrow. I'll probably launch it as soon as I get up and get around. So sometime in the afternoon. I may get up a little early for it. The Kickstarter's tomorrow. I think I have everything prepared, but you're always like, did I forget something? Like, do I really have everything? So, and I'm excited. And for those of you who don't know, like, the Kickstarter edition is worth buying because you're getting the illustrations in the book. You're getting the detailed character guide that will have little bits of information about the characters that aren't in the book. So, and also that comes with 12 sketches that my editor did on her own for fun. Like, she's like, I need to sketch this character, and she did that 12 times. So, and those are like some of the main characters. So you've got more than 12 characters. Speaking of POV jumps, like, there are so many POV jumps in this book. So that's why the basic version is going to have a basic character guide in there. That's why the more detailed one's going to be in the Kickstarter edition. But you're also going to have the team prediction sheets, which are so exciting because every chapter you're gonna, like, every week in the game you can go back and predict who you think's gonna win, and like then also list it out when you find out the truth and see how close you were. And like I've never gotten to do that because obviously I'm the author, and so I'm excited for other people to be able to do that and predict who they think's gonna win. And my editor and I did a good job of trying to disguise the main characters, like, and keep the POVs consistent and even, so you're like, you don't know who's gonna win, you don't know who to trust, that sort of thing. So I'm very, very excited and stoked for this book. There are subplot romances in it, so they're clean, but they're really intense, and so there's a lot of like action and stuff like that. So it's Survivor, the TV show, but Deadly meets the Hunger Games. So if the Hunger Games grew up, and stuff, so it's not YA for sure, but it's really exciting, really intense. I am so excited. I've been working so hard on that. So that's been the other thing in my life, is basically just preparing for the Kickstarter. I have no time for anything else. So like one of my authors, my author friend sent me a short story that I submitted to his anthology. So I need to go through those edits as soon as I can. I still have a whole book that my editor edited for me that I haven't gotten to go through yet. So it's it's intense. And then my writing is non-existent right now. Sadly. But so that launches tomorrow. It'll be, the link for that and all the other Kickstarters that I mentioned will be in the description, so you guys can find them. You can just scroll through and find which one you want, because I've got a lot of Kickstarters to talk about today, which is exciting. So there's a lot of interesting ones, actually. I've pledged to like 4, I think. So I'm pretty excited about those. But I know how to keep track now, because the last time I pledged, one of them I forgot to keep track of, and I didn't actually pay attention to when I got the email to get the ebook. And it's too late because it's been like a year or 2 now. But this time I know how to keep track. So that's my bad. My bad. But I mean, the money helped out the author anyway, so whatever. But so that's Survivor. So I'll just run through the Kickstarters. But the first one looks really fun. It's called the Matchmaking Fund. It's Emma and Oliver are in no match for the small town matchmaking scheme in this cozy contemporary romance. So this one has 17 backers and 3 days to go. So it's only got $495 pledged of the $250 goal. So I'm like, it seems like it deserves more than that, but I'm excited for the author. Short and sweet books that leave you to a sense of fulfillment, complete, no stakes read. You can read in a day. So it's like those really sweet, kind of cozy romances that some of you guys may be interested in. So yeah, she returns to her hometown for a career move, not a romantic one, but enter Oliver Barnes, young, charming, and adorably accident-prone around Emma. So yeah, it's just really sweet, kind of cozy romance and stuff. The art on it is really good, and it's like the book actually has like the artsy kind of illustrated cover, so I think it looks cute. So that is the Matchmaking Fund by Christina Clare. So, which sounds like Cassandra Clare. Used to be my favorite author when I was a teenager. So next up is The Winter Mage, or just Winter Mage, book 1 of the Legacy of the Lost Mage. It's a deluxe collector's edition, and it's one of those gorgeous ones that you would just buy for the cover. It's not launched yet, so you can click Notify Me on launch, and you can follow along with the Kickstarter. That really helps out the author. So it's TJ Muir, I think. So I don't know when it's launching, but Forbidden Magic, Fern needs a fresh start. Both women are like baddie women filled with feuding mages, bandits, betrayals, and stuff like that. So lost magic, betrayals, rule breakers, unlikely allies, and forbidden power. So it's like a special edition hardback. So that's The Winter Mage by TJ Muir.
Sweet.
Which again, that one's really gorgeous. So this next one was kind of like, the concept was like instantly intriguing to me. So it's called She-Wolf, and it's a sapphic, I don't know what that word means, but it's a retelling of Beowulf.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, that's kind of interesting. I've never heard of like a Beowulf retelling.
Yeah, I'd say that's not one you see every day, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's a standalone fantasy novel featuring a sword-wielding sapphic battling monsters of legend while torn between duty and desire. It actually it was funded in 3 hours, and it's got the project we love, which is like Kickstarter approved. Like Kickstarter actually is interested in the project. Everybody wants one of those stickers. So it looks like it's got a hardback with like the like not box, but like, you know, it slips inside of it or whatever. So it's only got 69 hours to go. So that's why I think this was one of them. And I told her I would shout it out on our podcast because it's going to end soon. And I won't be able to send it in my newsletter this Saturday because it'll be over. So you got 69 hours left to get this one if you guys are interested in Beowulf. And she has videos of it so you can see that the hardback is what it is. Found family, fake relationship, allies to lovers, dragon, marriage of convenience. Looks like she's got a lot of the stretch goals unlocked. So yeah, that one's She-Wolf by, I forgot to mention the author name, E.K. O'Connor. So that looks pretty cool. I like the art on it. So next up is another one that's launching soon. So again, you can just click notify me on launch and you can follow along with the Kickstarter. Melissa Kusera, I'm sorry, I'm butchering your name. 6 fantasy adventure books with portals, dragons, and an evil queen. So it's 2 hardcover special editions. Drag a mage and his family to New York City to save their scribe. It has gold foil, printed edges, and unique character art. It looks really good. So it has some like comparisons if you like this kind of book. So it's got six epic books in the thing. So it seems like a big compilation of a bunch of different books. So that's Melinda Cristera. It's another gorgeous one. Like I just want some of these just to sit on my shelf. Like they're so good and they sound really good too. So and they put so much effort into these. So next up is Neon. So this one's urban fantasy romance. It's a complete collector's edition set. It's another notify me on launch. So it doesn't actually have that many followers. So if you're interested in this kind of thing, geeky heroines and the immortals who would burn down the world for them in these foiled hardcovers with sprayed edges, NSFW art and more. So it looks like they may have some spicy art if that's your thing. So forced proximity, ADHD characters, werewolf and shifter. You got Norse gods. So I know my husband likes the Norse god legend kind of stuff. So Touch Her and Die. So you got best friends and stuff like that. So the covers look really good on that one. So that is by, doesn't actually say, yes it does. Alyssa Lind. So that one looks really cool. Got so Witch Lessons, this one looks like, you know, it's another notify me on launch. I guess I had a lot of those today. Cozy fantasy in an ebook form, audiobook, and paperback and hardcover. So it's got all the forms that you want. Veronica is a teacher at a school of magic. Her students, parents, and teachers are both the cause and solution to her problems. It's a collection of 3 consecutive novellas. And the missing spell book, an ancient book goes missing from the tower, and the rabbit in the hole. Mrs. Marsh, I can't speak. Mrs. Marsh, that is like my speech impediment nightmare for some reason. Of the Animal House loses a magic rabbit, and then out of the woodworks, a magical being in the forest next to the school behaves strangely. So it looks like it's like cozy, kind of like Harry Potter vibes, kind of. So, but yeah, that's ebook, audio, and paperback. So the fact that it has audiobooks in that one, you don't see that a whole lot in Kickstarter, so that's pretty cool. And I like the art. It's cool. It's like really cute art. So that's Witch Lessons by Patty Benson. So, and that's another one that you can notify you on launch. And I think I did another one twice, so that's actually the last one. So
awesome. Yeah, and if you've missed any of our previous live streams, the link that's in the description has all of the ones that we've mentioned, that Joanna's mentioned throughout the past few, like leading up to launch. So there's been several, so scroll through there, take a look at some things. Some things may still be open, some things won't. But honestly, what I've done before is if something's already closed, I'll go and see if I can't find the author's website and see if they aren't selling it themselves, or may go to Amazon. I know some people have a love-hate relationship with Amazon. Like if it's the only way an indie self-published author can get their books out there, I'll buy it from Amazon to support them at all. But if they can, if they offer it on their website, I typically try to go to the website first. But not honestly, from the authors that I've looked, I don't see very many on their website, or maybe I'm looking in the wrong spots. But yeah, so that's the thing.
It depends on if they're in the KU, we're not allowed to. So it depends on the author. A lot of these Kickstarter ones, they do multiple Kickstarters. So if they're closed, you may stick around and follow them on Kickstarter.
Yeah, that's true.
They may have another Kickstarter where they'll release some of their old, like, they release, like, a lot of, like, the old stuff from, like, their previous Kickstarters, and it's, like, a new book. So I know that's what I'm going to do. Like, I did Immortals, and so I'm going to do Remnant next.
Okay,
so
cool.
If that kind of thing. So
yeah,
but I'm glad. It's nice that you support indies, and like buying from the website's always a better thing. So, and not everybody also has the ability to like set that up, because it can be complicated to try to yourself.
Because if you're not really, if you haven't really taken the time to dive into like the how the royalties and stuff work with selling things on Amazon, if your book costs $20, and the author won't get $20. Amazon gets a decent percentage of that cost, so they may only get $5-6 out of the 20. I don't know the exact amounts. Joanna could probably give you the details if she had enough time to look up her stats on it, but
all of mine are $20, so I get, like you said, it's about $5 or $6, but the print cost comes out of my half, so they take that out, so I'm only earning about $1 to $2 per paperback sold, which is atrocious, but I have to cover the print cost. Yeah, it's not
we could spend a whole hour just ranting about that, but
for sure.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay, so did you...
Yes. Okay, the only other things that I have, the one I'm most excited for, and it has been shipped, and I'm excited to get it tomorrow. It's The Fallen and the Kiss of Dusk. I honestly was debating on reading the other script-style Harry Potter book that I had, just so I could read The Fallen and the Kiss of Dusk when it came tomorrow, but I'm like, you know what? I want to get into this. Book 2 ended on such a big moment that I'm like, I'm going to have to get into this. And I'm making decent pace with it, so The Fallen and the Kiss of Dusk is probably my next book that I'm going to read. That's excited.
Exciting. I need to catch up, dude. I got to
honestly, part of me...
book 3, but it's the first and the second duology, so...
Part of me kind of wants to reread book 3 before I go into book 4, because I don't remember a whole lot of details.
Yeah.
And I want to try to see if I can find where certain because the Slaying the Vampire Conqueror, supposedly those characters show up in one of the, I can't remember if it's book 3 or book 4 or which one, but I want to go back and reread to see if I can locate where they were at, because my brain wasn't clicking.
Maybe that could be a nice way of getting me through it, is to read it at the same time as you're rereading it.
Yeah. And, so if you want me to hold off on my reread, I can hold off on my reread, and we can do it together if you want. But yeah, so that is releasing tomorrow.
Covers are so good. Yes. So and she's such a good writer. Like, I'm excited for it and for her and everything, even though I haven't read book 3. So,
yes. So, and the way it's written out. So the books 1 and 2 are the Nightborn. They're the Nightborn duet, and then you have books 3 and 4 are the Shadowborn duet. I forget how many of the courts there are. I know there's the Nightborn, the Shadowborn,
the Blood.
Yeah, and there's the Bloodborn duet. The Bloodborn. So the first 2 are the House of Night. The 3 and 4 are about the House of Shadow, or people from the House of Shadow. And then the final 2 that will come out after this one that's getting ready to come out tomorrow. So books 5 and 6 will be from the House of Blood. So, which I think is really interesting. I don't know. I'd be interested in reading more fantasy series that are designed in that kind of format, because I think it's really interesting. That it's honestly, that's where it's I feel like she should have, with ACOTAR, she should have kind of not rebranded, but kind of let us know more explicitly. You know what I'm saying? This is Feyre's story, and then you have maybe the next book is the next chunk is like the sister story or whatever. Like, if that's what her plan is, I don't know. But, like, I feel like more people would have liked Silver Flames at the start if it was more explicitly written, like, hey, Feyre is not in it. Like, she's in this, but she's not the focus. So it's like...
Yeah, or the main character is going to shift on book 4 or 5 or whatever book number Silver Flames is. I don't know where my brain is going with the titles. I almost said Crescent.
Yeah. Which, honestly, Crescent City is kind of designed in that kind of format, too, but it's just a single book and not multiple.
Yeah.
But it's about the same characters, though. The characters don't change. Well, more keeps getting added, but, you know. Anyway.
Okay. So, speaking of books coming out, Callie Hart did this teaser, and I lost my mind. It was a teaser for Brimstone on her Instagram, and the text reads, it's from the audiobook, and it says, "Is your mind a dark place, warrior? A mind full of shadows is a dangerous thing. When you already live in darkness, hell is right there at your fingertips." And it seems like the person's talking to Kingfisher, and I'm like, what is going on? Like, I freaked the heck out when I saw this teaser. Oh my god, I lost my mind. So I'm like, I need context. I need the book now. Especially listening to it on Friday with you and Alicia. It was like...
So apparently
it's got me hyped.
Did you see the announcement for the Target exclusive for Brimstone?
No.
Apparently there's a Target exclusive cover. This like has like the sprayed edges and the bookmark and stuff. Let's hope that Target has a little bit better outcome with that than... But as we know with Target, it's not exclusive because they'll restock. I'm sorry. I'm being slightly salty, but you know.
Yeah. I'm not fond of the new covers, but obviously I'm so pumped for the covers, like, whatever to me. But it's like, because I thought at the end of Quicksilver, it was like, I was afraid that the Quicksilver problem had been solved, and I was like, I really liked that and wanted kind of more with that issue. And so it's like, when you already live in darkness, hell is right there at your fingertips. I'm like, what is going on? Like, I want to know. And it's just like, that's what a teaser is, and I'm like, that is the epiphany, like the ultimate teaser. Like, that's what a teaser. So she did a good job with that.
Yes.
So, I feel like her and Carissa Broadbent do really good with their social media.
I love Carissa Broadbent's Instagram. I am constantly scrolling through there. Like, she's posting quotes. There was like, there were some like earlier posts that but it was like, if you like this couple, read these books. They show up in these books. It was like, I don't know. It was really interesting because she's really quirky. She'll post like little quirky things like that. So for one, it's like a ranking guide. Which Crown of Naxia books should you read to prepare for the Fallen and the Kiss of Dusk? And the Songbird in the Heart of Stone was the number one thing. You should read this one. And then 2, you should read the other 2. And then Slaying the Vampire Conqueror. So essentially the entire series, but she's ranked them in order. She's ranked them in order of like when you should read, like which ones you should read. And so it's like really interesting. And there's some like quirky ones that she'll do. And then she's posted like a clip of it's like a video, but it's like a screenshot, and she has a couple like lines highlighted, and it looks like it's on like a Kindle, and so it's kind of like, and and it's just, it looks so good. I'm excited. I cannot wait for this. It's one of those things. I was checking it a couple days ago, and it hadn't shipped, and I was like, oh, I better not be late. And then I got to looking, and I'm like, it shipped. It shipped yesterday. Nice. And I'm like, but it's shipping from in state, so I'll know know for a fact that I'll get it tomorrow. Nice. One thing to kind of piggyback off of Callie Hart, I was kind of just scrolling through her Instagram a little bit while we were talking. When we were talking about how you weren't like a big fan of the new covers, I like Brim's, like if I'm comparing the 2 new covers, and I can, like, I like you can read Brimstone's cover better than you can read Quicksilver's cover, and I think it's because like they're designed I'm thinking they're designed based on the element that they're named after. So Quicksilver is like really like dripping, and the drips make it, and the shine make it really harder to read. But the Brimstone one I find relatively easy to read, and it kind of makes me wonder what Brimstone is. And how they're going to use that element. So I like it in a sense that it makes me kind of, I wonder what Brimstone is. I wonder, is it like an element that she's going to have to incorporate into something? Is it something that's going to have to help? Or is it something bad? Like, it makes me wonder what it is because of how, significant Quicksilver was to book one. It makes me really wonder, and it makes me think that she's going to really expand the concept of this story. And I don't know.
I know she announced these short stories that she has on her website that are Kingfisher POV, very short, quick reads that are free. And I read those, and there's an aspect of that is Brimstone-y, that Brimstone-ish, that is where I'm like, okay, I think that's where that's going to come into play. In those little short, that's what the second book is going to come about. And so those short stories are totally worth reading on her website because they're free, and they're Kingfisher. They're lore. They're ancient history, Kingfisher a long time ago kind of. They're really quick. I read them on my phone really quickly.
I completely forgot that Audible has something from Kingfisher's POV. I wonder if it's the short. I wonder if it's the short stories that are on her website.
Or because Quicksilver bonus scenes, I don't know, because those are bonus scenes that take place in Quicksilver. The ones on her website are just free stories that are Kingfisher prior to Quicksilver.
Gotcha.
So prequel.
Okay, it's the bonus scenes. It says bonus scenes, so you're right. So,
I want to listen to that though.
Okay, no,
I forgot all about.
It says previously only available on Callie Hart's websites. These scenes are now brought to life by popular demand. The scenes include the gates, parts 1 and 2, and the fox, the boot, and the dress. The fox, the boot, the dress.
Okay, I think she did have those on her website, but I don't think those are the prequel ones. I think those are just his POV for some of the stuff that happened in Quicksilver.
Gotcha.
So that's still really exciting though.
Hey, and it's 30% off right now on Audible. So if you don't have a credit, it's only $2.93 to buy outright. So.
Going to grab it. Oh my gosh, thank you. As soon as we're done here, that is it.
Leave it to me to encourage you to impulse buy. It's my superpower.
Help me buy books and spend more money.
I can encourage other people to impulse buy, but then when I try to impulse buy, I get all panicked and scroll through my bank account and then panic delete subscriptions unnecessarily, thinking that $2.99 is going to change my bank account at all. Yeah, that's me. I'm a mess.
So I think my cover designer just sent me the hardback for Survivor, so I'm kind of so distracted.
Plot twist.
But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, plot twist. So you had another new release. It was Assistant to the Villain, Book 3.
Oh,
I've already forgotten the title.
Okay, it is called Accomplice to the Villain.
Alright, so it was Assistant to the Villain, and then something else to the villain, and then
it's assistant to the villain, apprentice to the villain, to the villain.
Apprentice, thank you.
It's assistant, apprentice, accomplice. Those AAA words are really getting to me. Apparently there's an untitled book 4 that's also listed on Goodreads as well. So.
Right. So that series is still going strong. I have book 1. I've been meaning to read it. I got it for Christmas. I just have not read it yet. So I need to be in a fantasy comedy mood. Okay. Apparently we're having issues with the hardback. Why are we having
the reality of being a self-published author is you have to take care of all the problems.
Apparently the text is too long for one of the dust jacket. I don't know, the text is too long or something.
Ah. There's something else that I was going to pull up that a little while back, Rebecca Yaros posted this, and I was telling you about it. I remember taking a screenshot, but I can't find the screenshot. But apparently, it was like on Goodreads. Goodreads had put a release date estimated release date. An estimated release date for book 4, and she screenshotted it and posted it on her story and was like, this is not going to happen. I think it was like January of next year.
January 2026.
It was like January of 2026. Yeah, and so it's like, she's like, I'm sorry, but this is literally impossible. And that, the way I took that is like, she either has just now started writing it or planning it out, like in detail, like more detail outlining it, or like she hadn't even started it yet. But it's like, yeah. So,
like, I'm glad she put the people, like, set things straight. Not
Me
like,
too.
because people can ask whatever they want, but it's like, it's nice that she has like the real information out there for people who genuinely know and may get led astray by that.
I agree.
So one of the topics that I wanted to bring up with you, I wanted to get your opinion on, is I saw this TikTok video that I saved that was like, let's talk about bad reader behavior. Okay. And in the video, she talks about how obviously, like, you can leave a bad review, that's fine, like, you can think whatever you want about a book, but don't go up directly, like, to the author's, like, social media and tell them directly, like, I hated your book, or like whatever the main topics was. And so I wanted to see if you agreed or disagreed with that.
There's a thing, there's different areas of the internet have different etiquette, different types of etiquette. So like Twitch has what's called Twitch etiquette, that it's like this unspoken etiquette that just like basic rules that are like ways of being respectful and what's considered disrespectful when you're in a Twitch stream, like when you're commenting in a Twitch stream. It's the same thing with that. It's like, there are things that you can write that are perfectly acceptable. You can leave all the opinions you want in a review, but what makes you a book reviewer that's being more critical, what goes from being critical to being a jerk or bully, is based purely on how you word things and where you put the comments. Like, Rebecca Yaros is not going to scroll through every single Instagram comment and take every single review in an Instagram comment to heart. Now, is she going to go to Amazon and look at some of the reviews, or Goodreads, or Fable, or like Storygraph, or some of these or like Tome that's building popularity? Like, is she going to go to some of these websites that are designed for book reviews and reviewing books and book discussions, and maybe scroll through some of that, or maybe Reddit? Yeah, probably. But like, if you're making a Reddit post wanting to discuss, like, talk about your review and getting other people's opinions on it, then by all means go for it. But if they're talking, like, for example, if Rebecca Yaros is posting an announcement about her new contemporary novel, because she said that she was going to write a contemporary novel before she returned to the Empyrean series, the Fourth Wing series. She said that. So it's like, if you're commenting that you hated Onyx Storm, you hated it, on a post, one, that's not even related to that series, but two, has nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Don't.
I can see that. I mean, like, for me as an author, like, I'm going to be looking at every single review, so I'm going to see the negative ones. I have to prepare myself for that. Readers have the right to give their opinion. Yeah. So it's like, whether you tell me it on social media or not, I'm going to see it either way. But like, with like, to do it on social media where it's like not relevant, that would be like the issue. It's like, that's not what this post is for, kind of thing.
Like, honestly, like, you can write You can post whatever you want. That's the reality of living in America, where we have a freedom of speech. We have the Constitution. You can, well, to an extent, you can't threaten the country, because then you're going to get a knock on the door from some very aggressive people. But you can, for the most part, talk about, share whatever opinions you have. Now, how people interpret those comments and how people see your character as an individual is very dependent on how you say things and where you say them.
Yeah.
So take that with what you will, but I'm on the fence that you do not make those kinds of comments in a person's like social media comments. Those reviews are based for something like Goodreads or Amazon, where people are actually wanting your opinion before they buy a book or before they read a book. That's where that goes. That's where it's relevant, and that's where your opinion could make the most impact. If that's really something you want. Now, because if this person is a best-selling author, they're probably getting thousands and thousands of comments a day. They're not going to see your opinion. So if you're really wanting your opinion, your 1-star review to have a big impact, go somewhere where it's going to get some traction, where people are actually going to look for reviews. Make a YouTube video. Something like that. Make a TikTok video. People will see it.
It would probably go viral. Like, here's why Onyx Storm was actually a bad book.
Yes,
you know? And
exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Like, if you're really wanting your thoughts and your opinions to have an impact, then you need to make your own video making comments about it, not going to her page and spamming her comment section with hate. It's not going to do anything. You're just going to get blocked. That's what, you're not going to, you know.
Yeah. So a couple other news things I wanted to tell you about.
Okay.
I know you were interested in the Five Nights at Freddy's lore. So there's a Five Nights at Freddy's novel.
Okay.
It was canceled because
really
pages were leaked.
Oh, that's sad.
It was published by Scholastic Graphics. It was planned to have a 250,000 copy print run if it actually gets published. The second graphic novel in the series, based on the stories written by these people, was planned to publish September 2025, but the listing's been canceled on Amazon. But it still exists on Amazon.com in the UK.
Oh, that's sad.
This came after fan backlash over leaked artwork for the book, especially for the Mimic story, adapted by Anthony Morris, with allegations that the art was rushed and consisted of tracing, stock photos, and other media.
Yeah.
So that's seen other people on Reddit try to draw it themselves. So it's been canceled in the U.S., I guess. I don't know.
Well,
I feel like the canceling of the U.S. Print run could be more than that with the shipping issues right now from into the U.S., so it may not have been entirely related to
What I find incredibly hilarious is people throwing toddler temper tantrums about something specific, and when the author actually follows through and cancels something, they all start whining and crying and begging for it to come back. You literally did that. They literally did that to themselves. If you wanted this book, don't spam hate it. Like, literally, there was one author, I forget who it was, that essentially, like, was fully backing out of social media except for the bare minimum, like, book announcements, release announcements, because of, was that Callie Hart that was like that? That she was only going to post, like, I forget. It was one of the readers, the fantasy authors, that almost, not fully backed out of social media, but it was significantly backing out of a lot of, like, the interactions that she was initiating on social media, purely because of all the hate she was getting from keyboard warriors that think that they can type something into a keyboard and it won't impact people. Now, do I agree with the tracing and the stock photo usage? No, because I believe that you should have people that are drawing things, and I fully support artists that actually put 110% effort into it. So I definitely support them. But at the same time, if they're going to start whining and crying that this book is canceled, I don't feel sorry for you. I don't feel sorry for them at all. Because they did that to themselves.
They really did. So, And then the next one is the Fourth Wing board game, was just announced based on Rebecca Yarros's Imperium series.
I think I saw that. It was like a card game, maybe?
Release is October 1st. Yeah, it's Fourth Wing edition of a card game called Priorities. So it's like a party game. You can pre-order it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Target. Priorities is a party game that's been around since 2020. It has players rank 5 cards based on whatever criteria they wish. So the above game is fairly simple. There's a huge stack of cards featuring things from the books, and players pull 5 cards and rank them from best to worst. Since it's Fourth Wing, it'll be like, Fourth Wing themed, and so it kind of seems like I was expecting. I don't know. I thought there was something going to be like an actual Fourth Wing board game. I didn't know it was going to be a card game, but that's still kind of fun. So maybe in the future there'll be like more, as it goes kind of more viral, there will be more like board games and stuff, but still would be kind of interesting to try to play, like just for kicks and giggles, random. Yeah. So, and then another one that is not book related, but I had to talk about because I've been following this really closely, is Avatar: The Last Airbender live action. So it's based on the Avatar Last Airbender animated TV shows. For those of you who don't know, I grew up with it in my childhood, like my sister did. So we're like, my sister especially too. So season 3 gets a major filming update, and I'm like, we were already on filming season 3. I'm still waiting for season 2. So it's renewal. Avatar: The Last Airbender season 2 and 3 were planned to be filmed. Okay, they were planned to be filmed back to back. So season 2 is wrapped up filming, and it wrapped up back in May of 25, and then filming on season 3 started that same month. So they're like, because I think a lot of it is concerned about the child actors aging beyond what they're already going to have to do a change for season 2 in the timeline, because they already aged, but in the time that they filmed season 1 for when it came out on Netflix, just because of production.
Yeah.
So they're trying to get, so this time they're going to film them back to back so that the timelines of season 2 and 3 can stay the same. Okay, wrapped up. Okay, I'm trying to. It's an interview, so I'm trying to find the most relevant piece of information. Yeah, not really relevant. So basically, I guess the showrunner stepped down. His duties were overtaken by 2 of the series' executive producers. But Daniel Day Kim, the actor who's not only a major actor, but he plays the Fire Lord. Everybody was like obsessed with him because he's actually like a really good looking actor. And I'd share that. It's like the Fire Lord is actually kind of good looking now. But he basically has a busy schedule. So he was talking about how he had to go back to like this place, like to film. So it was basically just proving that they're already filming season 3, I think. So, I'm obsessed. Awesome. I just had to mention that because I love Avatar. So hopefully they do a little bit better for the live action season 2 than season 1. I think they need to keep the timeline, like the basic stuff for the original, kind of the same. I think in the middle they tried to change up a little bit and it didn't work very well in the live action, but it's still been really good. Like visually it's gorgeous and the actors are on point and all that stuff, so I'm excited to see what they do. It'll be interesting to see their timeline jump to like account for ages, people aging and stuff. So but exciting. That's everything I think.
So let us know what you're reading, and if there's any new series that we haven't read that you think we should start reading, I'm always up for like new series ideas. That's kind of why I bought From Blood and Ash, just to kind of see if that was a series that I wanted to dip my toes into. And I bought a used book on eBay because I didn't know if I would really enjoy the series or not. So I'm like, we'll buy used. Give a used book some more love. But if there's any like drama, news updates, bookish updates, things like that, let us know in the comments, or find us on other social medias and let us know there. And all right, guys, we'll see you later.
So let us talk to you later, or we'll
and just remember the Kickstarters that were coming out soon, things like that. Joanna's comes out tomorrow, things like that. So be on the lookout for more updates from her as that goes on. So All right.
Yeah, I'll be all over the place.
Yeah, you will be busy tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.